remembering 14 pages can be a daunting task. There are 16 actual instructional spaces in the special education set. Self-contained classrooms at 900 square feet. We have 2 of them. They'll serve your cognitively impaired students. You have workroom and conference space. There are 650 square foot spaces here. One of them will serve as a conference room for the special ed department. The other 5 are workspace and individual small group space for your school psychologists, your speech therapists, and your transition coordinators. You have 3 accessible restrooms with showers that are going to be in proximity to your special ed classrooms. 1 special ed resource room that is 900 square feet, which will serve as a classroom space for special needs. 2 of them that are 1,000 square feet. These larger resource rooms have been designed, number 1, for your science classroom. You have students in the special education department who have their science classrooms separately. This will allow it to be equipped and have adequate space for, some laboratory space and tables in that area. The second one will be utilized as your OT-PT room. So it will have enough space for the equipment and the work areas for your occupational and physical therapy needs. Small self-contained classrooms. There are 6 programmed here, and those are for your special needs tutors. They can also be scheduled at other times during the day for smaller classes or small group work by other teachers. And then 5 600 square foot self-contained classrooms. One of these will serve OWA, and the other 4 will be used for some of your self-contained special needs classes that have lower class enrollments that don't need quite as large a classroom space. Questions, comments on this section?
One of our thoughts about this space, too, is these rooms are going to be scattered throughout the school. Notice they're all in the new construction, none in the existing Washington building, so that these are not going to be all located together, but scattered throughout the building so that those students will be integrated throughout the school.
Okay, if we're ready to move on, we're going to take a look at the administrative spaces in the building. And this becomes a rather daunting looking list. You're going to look at it and notice that there are many repetitive items, 2 reception areas, multiple secretarial, and so on. The reason for this is that these areas are designed to house 1 main office and 2 team offices throughout the building. So they won't all be located in one area. You'll have your main office at your main entrance and your team offices in other locations throughout the building. Your main office will have a reception area of 500 square feet, a secretarial area also of 500 square feet, and 2 secretarial offices, the principal secretary and your secretary treasurer, because of the materials that they handle, have their own separate space. Your principal's office is in that area, 1 assistant principal. There'll be a main conference room in that space. Your mail workroom and copy room will be there, and that's where all of the teacher mail will go. That's their main check-in point for the day, is in the main office. You have administrative storage. Your main vault is there. You'll have 2 staff restrooms in that area, and that covers your main office. In each of the 2 team offices, you'll have a smaller reception area, your secretarial space, 2 of the remaining 4 assistant principals' offices in each suite. They will each have a 200 square foot conference room, a small workroom and copy room, a small administrative storage area. One of the offices will have associated with it what's termed on here as an in-school suspension area. That room can be used for a number of purposes depending upon how the philosophy of in-school suspension may change over time for your school. So that's a very flexible space of 600 square feet. Each of them will have a pair of restrooms. Each team office will have 3 of the guidance counselors' offices, record storage in each, and a guidance conference room, so they will have space to work with small groups of students. Your health clinic right now at 600 square feet is planned to be located somewhere near the athletic complex. You have 6 itinerant personnel offices. Those are for, outside agencies that come in that need to meet with students, staff, parents, 2 in each of the administrative office areas. A career center, whichever one of the offices does not get that in-school suspension space will have the career center associated with it. College materials, access to computers for students, those types of things, career counseling go on in that area. Your 2 family restrooms will pick up in another place. These are something that by Ohio Revised Code must be included in buildings. One of them will be located adjacent to your new auditorium and one in the area of your gymnasiums. Questions about administrative space?
Just from an administrative perspective, it certainly makes sense to spread out the supervision piece, meaning the supervision is spread out across the building, so that's certainly a plus. I guess the thing that I was hoping you could address is, we've worked for a long period of time in terms of nurturing a school within a school concept, and I see that the team offices, Team Office 1 and Team Office 2 up there. Could you talk a little bit about how those administrative spaces reflect that concept and how they're spread out across the building?
Sure. Right now we have 4 school teams. With those 4 school teams, 2 of each are housed in each administrative center. So you have 2 assistant principals, 2 secretaries, and 3 guidance counselors. And those 3 guidance counselors serve that group of 1,000 students. And they remain with the same assistant principal, the same secretary, and the same counselor for 4 years. Breaking that down into 4 groups of 500 has allowed that attendance to increase, our graduation rate to increase, and it truly is a school within a school.
So with regard to the physical space that's reflected here administratively, are there 2 teams in one area?
Yes.
Okay, so you'd have 2 teams in one area and 2 teams in the other.
Team 1 and 2 right now is upstairs. Team 3 and 4 is in what used to be the guidance center.
And then the support services associated with the secretarial support for those areas and the counselor support are located contiguously so that they're supporting those functions?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. If we can move on to the next area, this is your media center. And the media center is one of those areas where your reading circulation room up on the very top is determined by your student enrollment. So there's a calculation that tells us how much square footage to put into the circulation